always right. Someone made a GoFundMe. People are calling the police. Stop trying to find a damn hero. We don't need a hero. You guys don't need any information. You're not entitled to any information about her private life. She publicly tweeted that she wanted privacy, and the only thing that that's resulted in is more people going online claiming that they have inside information that they do not. Onision has several times tried to give himself some kind of credit for saving her. Now Danny Edge is trying to take some kind of credit for saving her. All these people, meanwhile, would humbly sit back and be like, no, this was you who saved her. They're saying it in some kind of arrogant tone that's giving themselves some kind of credit. Everyone just wants to smell their own farts and kiss their own ass throughout this whole thing, and it's making me want to puke. And if I personally don't choose to do that, right? If I don't want to kiss my own ass, I'm gonna get harassed online for doing nothing. It's a lose-lose. I mean, if you don't put it online, it didn't happen, right? People are harassing me, and they have been every single day. I can't get away from it. Onision, I wanted this to be private. You violated my trust so many times that this shouldn't come as a shock to me, but I guess part of me hoped that there was enough decency in you to realize how serious of a situation this was and respect my request for you to stay quiet about this. Those of you who don't know, I was in a very tough spot, which I can't fucking explain right now, but I was in a very tough spot, and I needed for Onision to stop publicly tweeting at me, to stop tweeting at my friends, to help Eugenia, because the hype he was causing around that situation was directly getting in the way of what we were already doing. You have no idea the amount of damage that you caused and how much worse it actually could have been. And I just want to say this really quick. Thank you, Keemstar, for choosing to contact me and having a private phone call with me as opposed to putting all this on the internet, which he very could have easily done. And I don't know, I will forever appreciate and respect him for having the decency and maturity to do that. Like I said, this video is very difficult for me to make without giving away certain pieces of information, but I will say this. Every single person that has made a video on this has no fucking clue what they're talking about. Not one. And it's really hard for me to talk about this video. It's been really hard for me over this last month, and I feel even stupid saying that because obviously, like, this is not about me, but it has kept me up at night. It has sent me into panic attacks, and I have been struggling with a lot of it because I can't talk to anyone about it outside of a very small group of people. One of those people is my boyfriend David, and he has an interesting perspective on all of this and a little bit.
What's up, folks? Dusty Smith here with the Cult of Dusty, the Codcast. This is my second live episode on YouTube. Learning as I go. As you can see, I've kind of changed the layout somewhat, added the chat and shit. Still a work in progress. I'm working it out. If any of you guys out there are artists and want to help me out to fucking do this better, please do. I could use all the help I can get. Hopefully we have a good show tonight. I have no fucking clue. We'll see what the fuck happens. As always, if you see fucking porn on my screen, just ignore it. You guys know I'm a fucking freak. So, let's see what we got. I'm going to talk about tonight about Joe Rogan calling black people apes. Something that I accidentally stirred up some controversy by posting. I really didn't mean to, but I'll explain that in a minute. And we're going to go over the terrorist attacks. Obviously, that's the big news today. I'm going to go over the social media response to the terrorist attacks. And if you guys have questions for me, be sure to let me know. We have the live chats up and running, the super chats. That's what they're called, super chats. If you don't know what a super chat is, that's basically where you can, like, pay me money to read your questions. And the more you pay me, the more serious I'll take your questions. So buy my love, folks. Super chats are, like, under the video. I think there's a little, like, money sign or some shit or something. You click on it, and then you can ask me a question. You can donate. And pretty much everything I make on this show goes to the Human Society of Mississippi Animal Sanctuary. So help me the fuck out. That would be awesome if you guys, if you would support what I do so I can keep doing it. I set up a new Discord. Discord, ME/Cult of Dusty. The old one no longer works. So if you were signed up for that one, sign up for the new one. I set up this Discord so I can talk to people live on the air. And Demotivator Tim Blake had done an amazing job with this intro, so I wanted to share it with you guys, and this will be the opening to our show. Here we go. This is the Gotcha Boys intro.
This is his crew. He hangs out with Tim Blake and Vadim Newquist. Oh my god. That's fucking wonderful.
Podcast. It's not really a podcast anymore. We started off as a podcast, but it kind of turned into a show because it's by far the most heavily edited, not overly produced, but heavily produced thing I've ever been involved in. So it's more of a show than a podcast. And I think Vadim and Demotivator Tim Blake had done an amazing job with this intro, so I wanted to share it with you guys, and this will be the opening to our show. Here we go. This is the Gotcha Boys intro.
Wow. Fucking boomer. Oh my god, it's embarrassing. Wow.
That's lagging shit.
What the fuck? This is like ground zero for cringe. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
We must destroy your reputation.
This is really embarrassing.
There's no audio. Fuck. Okay, well, good to know. All right, we're gonna start over. It's okay. Doesn't matter because I wanted to hear it again anyway. Somebody pointed out there's no audio. I think I fixed it instantly. So here we go. Sorry, folks. We're still working out the bugs. I'm a noob doing this all at the fucking same time. It's hard. So here we go. Boom.
These fucking gotcha boys.
Tweet. I don't like you, so I took it out of context. All my followers can see. Now they're calling you a Nazi. Gotcha, and gotcha, boys. Our only goal is to destroy. No matter the situation, we must destroy your reputation. Gotcha. Gotcha, boys. And I only drink products with soy and like for ideology. And that's all that it is.
I mean, are they trying to be humorous about the fact that that's what they do? Or deny, like, oh, this is what people say we do, so we're going to be part of the joke? No, all three of those people have called me a racist.
Woo, the fucking Gotcha Boys podcast. So Vadim is going to put the
That was a fucking hot dumpster fire there.
down in Florida. They were unveiling the very first monument on one of the things he posted in his metaphor head. Women have control over their reproductive systems, and they no longer want to have children. They no longer have to. You know, they have the option now. And also, it's easy to get pornography now, so you don't really have to have a mate anymore to satisfy your urges. It's really fucking easy.
So I have your urges. Hate the way he talks. What a cunt. All right, back to this.
A bit to add to the whole Danny Edge situation, so let's go talk to him for a second.
We overexposed.
Yeah, we're real bright.
Oh god, boyfriend.
Real bright? You know I'm so bright that my mother calls me son. All right, back to the vibe.
Oh my God.
Welcome to my channel.
Hi, my name is David.
Sorry that it's such a serious, weird video that your introduction happens to be on. Normally,
we can sing in the future. Okay, so just a little bit about the tough and weirdness and stress of all of what's been going on. Eugenia is like honestly, truly like one of the most like loving and caring people ever. That makes this so much harder to see. I've been keeping up on you know videos as they're uploaded every day. I've seen all of them from the PewDiePies to the Onisions.
all of the Onision videos.
Yeah.
All like what, 6 or 7? There's a lot.
There's a lot, and a lot of them mention you, and I choose when or when not to tell you about those videos because I know they're very stressful.
I get anxiety over it.
They would upset you as they have me at times.
But we never like felt the need to comment on any of Onision's videos because they were so ridiculous and hypothetical, and he would change his mind every video that it was just.
But by doing that, he'll at least get it right one of the times.
Yeah, that's all he cares about.
Yeah, he throws out about all kinds of theories. I told her after one Onision video that there was a video that mentioned you, and then the next day another video came out and it was a completely different theory. So it didn't matter. I'm glad I didn't inform you on it.
But okay, so the only one that actually pissed me off enough was the Dirty Danny. Which name? There was just 2 names.
Kid named Dirty Dan. Don't know him.
I don't know him either.
But he, if you do a little more research on him, it looks like he used to go under another name named Danny Edge, and there's all kinds of like, slam videos on him for being sort of a perv and weird.
I heard some of those like recently. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But
regardless, he made a video. He made 2 videos. He made it out that he had a message to Eugenia, and that is fine. But then the next video after that was that he spoke to Eugenia. That upset me because the timing of all of this, there's no way in hell he spoke to her. Maybe that was too much information, but...
no, I mean, like, I think we can say at least that.
Yeah, there's no way he spoke to her.
Because people know, like, she tweeted about getting help.
Correct, and that was a few days...
That was not before, that was during, and whenever he posted that video, like, he didn't he didn't he didn't have any inside information that he was like giving out to people. He was making it seem like I have the inside scoop because we're such close friends and we're talking now.
And I didn't want to comment on anything, clearly.
We've sort of become accustomed at this point
I feel bad
that
because,
if a person who is a Muslim commits an act of terror, right-wingers attack the entirety of Islam.
It had been such a struggle until then, and we see this video. I don't know, I got mad, so I commented, but you commented first. And
Yes,
it got deleted.
We're off to
He
the
deleted it.
races. This is the regressive agenda. This is not all. So they straw man their opponent and they say that we're saying it's all of something. It's not. And by the way, Islam deserves to be criticized thoroughly and consistently as it's a disgusting, heinous, evil religion.
Of Islam.
That can be off to the race from the acts of individual Muslims. And there are many individual Muslims who partake in horrific acts. And when time after time, the terrorist in question references Islam as his motivation, it makes perfect sense to criticize Islam in the wake of an attack. We're off to the races.
It's not generally the case that...
This is not all. So they straw man their opponent and they...
It's not generally the case that when Muslims are killed in a terror attack, the politician attacks all of Islam, but today that is the case. With a senator in Australia, this is Fraser Anning, who put out a statement.
The other talking points they're hitting on is defend Muslims. Undoubtedly.
Statement.
Muslims are killed in most...
When Muslims are killed in a terror attack, the politician attacks all of Islam, but today that is the case. Put out a statement.
Are you talking about the guy who just got an egg smashed on his head?
On full letterhead, totally available, proud to have this attributed to his name, said the entire religion of Islam is simply the violent ideology of a 6th century despot. It is the religious equivalent of fascism. And just because the followers of this savage belief were not the killers in this instance does not make them blameless. Just to be clear, he's saying that the 49 men, women, and children who were killed in this attack were not blameless for their own killing.
That is retarded and demented, and that is not clear, John. That's unclear. You muddied that intentionally. That's not what he's saying. He's not saying that they're to blame for that attack. He's saying outside of that attack, they are not innocent Boy Scouts. Is that concept too hard for you to grasp? Why would you lie about what this guy said? You lied, John. And it shows me that you have no basic reading comprehension skills, this guy said.
And goes on to say, as we read in Matthew, quote, all and goes on to say, as we read in Matthew, quote, all they that take the sword shall perish by the sword, and those who follow a violent religion that calls on them to murder us cannot be too surprised when someone takes them at their word and responds in kind. Apparently missing the obvious then follow-up, well, if you believe that your violence against is justified because of their violence against you, does that not then justify their violence against you in the future? That causes the sorts of cyclical violence that has led to generational conflicts in the American South.
This is why things get messy. This is why there's the fog of war. And I like the fact that they went to some random Australian politician who's a Christian, who's quoting the Bible to justify violence against Muslims, as if that's the best argument coming against Muslims. I mean, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. It's low-hanging fruit. Hey, John, how about this? I'm not going to quote you the Bible. I'm concerned about Muslim violence. I'm not going to go to Matthew to justify retaliatory violence, but I am aware of the concept. It's something called justice. I don't think it was served in this case, but since you guys are justice losers, you should be familiar with the concept.
That causes the sorts of cyclical violence that has led to generational conflicts in the American South, Europe, and beyond.
Excuse me, where did you, what were those references? The American South and Europe are places that have cyclical violence because of what? The philosophy of retaliation? Why did your mind go to the South and Europe? Oh, is that white people places? So, oh, I see. The politician in question was white, and white people have had violence in the American South? Wait a minute, didn't the American South have one civil war? There was a civil war, they lost, that was the end. Where's the cycle of violence there? You want to talk violence in the American South? It's being done by black people, John. Have you looked at the numbers? Go check the crime stats for Atlanta or New Orleans. Nolans. It's not good. But yeah, John, Europe, there's cyclical violence. Hot take. A couple things you didn't mention. Wonder if there's violence in the Middle East or in Africa.
Okay, so obviously we don't believe in that cyclical violence, but I've got to correct one thing, because unfortunately no one ever talks about this for fear of offending Christians, and then it allows this ideology to take hold and leads to these disastrous results, which is that Islam is somehow uniquely violent. Its text is uniquely violent.
So we're about to pivot to Christianity in full. So a guy kills Muslims.
Violence,
he wasn't a Christian. This is not a priest doing this. He didn't do it for religious reasons.
Gotta correct one thing, because unfortunately no one ever talks about this for fear of offending Christians.
That was very convenient. So they pretend like they're going to talk about Muslim terror in some sort of way, because the reason the guy went on that shooting spree was because he was concerned about Muslim terror. And their way of addressing Muslim terror is discussing Christianity. It's an amazingly bad magic trick, guys. Somehow, like, he's pretending he doesn't understand why it's different. Cenk, are you aware, Keek, are you aware that some numbers are greater than other numbers? Like, have you noticed throughout your life when you step on a scale, the numbers keep getting higher and higher the older you get? Of course, Islam is uniquely violent.
And then it allows this ideology to take hold
99.7% of the deaths
and leads
caused
to
by
these
terrorism
disastrous
come
results,
from Muslims.
which is that
99.7 out of 100. Does that have to be explained? What a limp-dicked attempt at a defense. Just shut up and give up.
Its text is uniquely violent.
Shifting the goalposts again. So the question is whether or not Muslims are irredeemable. Well, what does that mean to be irredeemable? Many of them are. Many of them are fully committed.
And it leads to the ideology that Muslims,
but now the issue
since
is,
they all
it's
believe
just
in that
too bold
text,
a word.
are
Why are you
irredeemable.
just giving up on them? It's our problem. When we're just commenting on the sickening tidal wave of violence coming from that one group of people. And it's not all, and it's on a spectrum for the fucking trillionth time.
And so, and that is obviously what the senator from Australia is going towards, but even in a less sophisticated way.
Sophistication, guys. This is fat, brown, gullet neck sophistication. Get ready to gobble this shit up. You know what's weird? These people are so retarded. They came out, by the way, they didn't show the shooter's face. They chose not to glorify this guy. I guess they heard a bit of the pushback, the criticism, like, guys, be consistent. So they're choosing not to do that. And they're calling it a mass shooting, which is retarded. It's an act of terrorism. It's not just a mass shooting. So the one time it is terrorism, and they've bitched about this forever. They used to talk about, call it terrorism. Terrorism is what it is. This was terrorism, and they're too dumb to call it that now. Get a hold of yourself, you effing losers.
So read the text for yourselves. The Bible is filled to the rim with grotesque violence.
Oh yeah, the Bible, right. So now we're about to compare, non-sarcastically, by the way, this is a legit attempt at a defense for Islam, is to compare the Bible to the Quran. Well, by the way, this is where he conflates the Old and the New Testament. So Christianity, here's a basic analysis of Christianity. They lean towards the New Testament. The New Testament is the Jesus shit. Okay? And it supersedes the Old Testament. That's why they ignore the Old Testament. We're not talking about Orthodox Jews, keek. We're talking about Jesus worshipers. And who was Jesus? A hippie virgin pacifist. Who was Muhammad? A beheading, raping, pedophile cunt. Warlord. Do you spot a difference there? But yeah, there's no differences. They're the exact same. Go ahead, Keek. Difference there. But yeah, there's no differences. They're the exact same. Go ahead, Keek.
So if you don't like that fact, take it out with God. But you can read it for yourself, and you could, say, "Oh, Cenk made me uncomfortable by telling me things that are true." And if
I just told you a variety of things that are true, and you are too much of a fat pussy to ever acknowledge them. Sincerely, a left-winger.
and if you don't believe me, like I said, try to make it through the Old Testament. See if you can do it without vomiting. Okay.
The Book of the Jews, that book, the book that is ignored by and large by most Christians, cherry-picked at best, that book. And by the way, why are we talking about Christianity? Again, hello? Echo. Jesus.
And even Sam Harris, who is, I think, a huge purveyor of the idea that Muslims are uniquely irredeemable, admitted on the show that, yeah, the Old Testament is by far the most violent of the texts. Does that
Purveyor of the idea? You mean acknowledger of the truth? Sam Harris? Are you talking about the Jew, Sam Harris, who conceded a point that the Old Testament was awful to make a greater point, to assuage your fat ass as he fucked your brain for 3 hours in front of 1 million people?
Does that make all Christians or Jews violent? Of course.
Give me a fucking break. The Quran is worse than Mein Kampf. And what a stupid comparison
Does
is
that
this?
make all Christians?
What is the practicality of it? Nobody abides by stone a witch. Nobody's living that life. So it's totally
uniquely
irrelevant.
irredeemable.
And two wrongs don't make a who cares. So if the Old Testament is violent and the Quran is violent, it makes no difference which is more violent. Because Muslims are more violent. That's how they interpret it. They live by it. They're living in the fucking Stone Age.
Does that make all Christians or Jews violent?
Oh, it's not all gang? Of course!
Of course not. Of course not. Here's another uncomfortable fact that nobody talks about. No one actually believes any of the religions.
It's not all. You just lofted up a softball, straw man that nobody said, and you knocked it out of the park, chink. You're fat?
Here's another uncomfortable fact that nobody talks about. Here's another uncomfortable fact that nobody talks about.
You're fat?
No one actually believes any of the religions. Here's another uncomfortable fact that nobody talks about.
You're fat?
No one actually believes any.
Oh yeah, that's a really smoldering hot take. No one believes the... Okay, I beg to differ. Why don't we go ask them? Yeah, it's all just a big game. It's a show. They're all acting. Right, no Muslim believes it. Don't take their word for it. What a fucking idiot this man is.
Cool story, bro.
Yes, because they're Christians and they abide by the New Testament, which is the hippie, peace, love, and all that crap. That's their interpretation. It's not even a minor thing.
Computer's breaking down. Computer's breaking down. Full freak out. Audio's all fucked. Save. Everything's fucked. Run back to Jacqueline. When in doubt. Nope. Can't even get that. Give me Jacqueline or give me death. Look at this shit. Look at my life. Look what I'm coping with. Why is 250,000 people watching this nonsensical drama? Yep. Playback doesn't begin. Try restarting your device. Shit went south, people. We tried.